Yeah, all right. As always, I would invite everybody to switch on their cameras if your connection allows. And just as I said, welcome to this second lecture of our lecture series. I think we can slowly start as this meeting will be recorded. All the latecomers will be able to watch the full length afterwards. So again, welcome to the session. It's good to see all of you. And as said, I especially welcome our keynote speaker. It's great that you are here. It's great that we can see you, Pastor Oppong-Boateng. And let me just briefly introduce this session today. So my name is Marie-Louise Frost. I'm a researcher in the research program on religious communities and sustainable development. And I have the privilege to chair this lecture today. And let me just briefly introduce our keynote speaker. Pastor Victoria Oppong-Boateng is the leader of the women's group at Family Sanctuary, which is a branch of Victory Bible Church International. And Victory Bible Church International was founded in 1985 in Accra in Ghana, and today has branches in Ghana, the United States, and the United Kingdom. And Family Sanctuary is located in Cape Coast in Ghana, and that is also where I had the chance to interview Pastor Oppong-Boateng doing our field research in West Africa. So I'm very pleased to be able to meet you here in that Zoom room, unfortunately not in Berlin, but at least in this very international room where we can all be together. I'm very pleased to be able to meet you here again. And I will now hand over to you, and I would ask my colleagues to share the slides that you have provided. So the floor is yours.
Okay. Good afternoon to you all. I hope you can hear me.
Yes, we can hear you. Good afternoon.
Okay, so good afternoon. I bring you greetings from Ghana, like you rightly introduced. And I also bring you greetings from my bishop, Bishop Richard Ampeduduku, the Bishop of Victory Bible Church Family Sanctuary in Cape Coast. Yes, and I know you remember Apostle Dr. Enim from the Pentecost Theological Seminary. Yes, I also bring you greetings. Yes, so it's a privilege to be with you and then to be on this platform. I'm very grateful. I pray that I'll be of a great blessing to your audience this afternoon. So our topic, just like it has been displayed, we said women empowerment in African Pentecostal churches. Yes, and so we really want to know or get a little understanding into what we mean by women empowerment. Can we go to the next slide, please? Yeah, so just like it has been displayed, and an empowered woman is one who has the opportunity to discover herself, is able to discover her purpose, and dedicate herself to living in a way that aligns with her purpose. Once the person is given the opportunity and the platform to be able to discover herself. So it's very important that the woman is empowered, wherever the one finds herself, even in the church. Because the woman knows that living her purpose will bring fulfillment to herself and also bring fulfillment to the society at large. So we are saying that it's very important for us to empower women, especially in the church. Can we move on? Now, why the need for women empowerment? We are saying that the issue of women empowerment in Pentecostal churches, particularly in Africa, is a major challenge because there are more women on our pews, there are more women in the churches. So we expect that the women should be empowered, the women should be at the decision table. So they are able to make an input into their livelihood, and then they are able also to propel the church in that direction. So since we are more in the church, there are issues that concerns us as women. and then we must be part of the decision making. But we may ask, is that what is happening? Not really so. Can we move on, please? As we all know, the Pentecostal movement is said to be the most significant religious movement in the world, and it's primarily made up of women. I know when Mary came around, I don't know whether you saw, but when you enter most churches, the majority of the congregation are women. But when it comes to decision making, the women are more on the periphery. The men are on the center stage of the issues. Do they really know our concerns? Do they really know how we feel? Are they able to table issues to concern us more? We are asking. We are more. Let our voice be heard as women. Shall we move? So we are saying that we are not in the hierarchy of affairs. We are not at the height of decision making, even though we have opportunities to serve in the church, but we are not at the center of decision making. More women are not around where decisions are made so that they will be able to make inputs that concerns them. Now, I was looking at a research by Kuti, who did the work in Zimbabwe, and then what he found out seems to have the same effect in the whole of, or most of the African countries. And he says that a research study by Kuti Joseph indicated that the Pentecostal church in Zimbabwe and Africa at large needs to address the issue of women empowerment, since the church or religious sector is lagging behind when other areas of the society, like the economic and then political sectors, have already embraced the notion of women empowerment. So now when you enter our society, when you enter into politics, there are more women. We are not saying that they are more than the men, but there are more women entering into politics and then other sectors. So what is happening in the church? That we are not moving, women are not given that opportunity, or they don't have that opportunity. We think that if it's happening in the society, it means that more women are moving up the ladder. So they are the same women that troop into the churches. So over there, we should also have the opportunity in decision making. Next slide, please. So it was of the assertion that, if there is gender balance in the leadership of the church, there will be more sound contribution in the ministry of the church that would benefit women. And I think I agree with what he said. While there's a balance, once women are also given the opportunity in decision making, they can give sound contributions in matters of women. And that will go in a way to actually build the church holistically. So that it's not a one-sided things concerning only women, concerning only men, sorry, but also issues concerning women at large. Because we know that if the woman is empowered, the home is empowered, the children are empowered, and lots of people are empowered. So we are saying that there should be a balance. As that now, we are not seeing the balance in leadership with regarding gender. Shall we? And then we also realize that once it's the men who are the center of the decision making, then there will be issues concerning women that would be overlooked. I think it's one of the reasons why we think that women should be empowered, so that issues concerning them, they are in a better position to deal with it, to spell out their needs and then what needs to be done. rather than somebody else or than a man thinking that I know how the woman feels and I can be in the better position to speak to it. They should be also around the table to talk about their needs, rather than suffering silently, always thinking that the woman must be quiet in the church. As Paul once said, these days it shouldn't be like that. Women should also be given a voice to be able to speak about their needs, their concerns. And I think at the end of the day, it will help us as a church. Shall we move, please? We are looking at all the challenges that women face themselves, the glass ceiling. So everybody thinks that, oh, this is where, even though it's not spoken, we think that this is how far the woman can go. And that is it. And everybody pegs the woman there and then they leave the woman there. But there are a lot of things that women can do. So they should give us the access to the top, to also the top ranks, so that we are able to exhibit our potentials. There are also the cultural influences. You know, we are in Africa, we are in Ghana, and then there's that notion that once the man is the head of the family, so every decision making lies with the man. Once the man has spoken, the mind of the woman. But we are saying no. So because of that, it has also eaten into our churches. And then they said the man is the head of the family. And then once the man has spoken, you need to agree, even if that is not the correct thing, or there's more to say, you still have to live with it. So those are some of the negative societal and cultural influences. And then on our part as women, since we've been relegated to the background for a long time, there's also this inferiority complex. So it's even difficult for some of the women to even come out of their shells and then work to the expectation, or give out the best of their talents and then their potentials. And the lack of acceptance. Sometimes if you are there and then you are on the educational ladder and then you happen to be around where men, you are the person who is high on up there, sometimes there's this power thing, like you are relegated to the background so that they have to speak, they don't feel inferior to you and all that. So there's that lack of acceptance sometimes by the men, so that you are able to exhibit your potentials. And the lack of education and then trainings. Sometimes you are put into a position, you are not orientated as to what is expected of you, but everybody expects that you should function. And once you are not able to function, then it goes like, you are not able to do it. If we're able to give it to a man will be able to do it. We are thinking that once they give the platform, you should be given the education, you should be given the orientation, so that you are able to perform to the best of your ability. I mean, once you are living a life, you'll be able to live and empty yourself before you leave this place. God has embedded in us so many rich potentials that we can birth before we leave this place. So from his study, saying women have the capacity for leadership in Pentecostal churches, if only they are empowered. And I think I agree with that assertion. Women in the Pentecostal churches should be empowered. They should be given the platform to be able to showcase what they have, they also have out there. And then it will go a long way to help the church. Shall we? Certain times we see certain ranks, and then you think that, oh, then it means that these people have been accepted, they have been empowered. You see the titles of doctors, professors, apostles, and bishops. Some of the women are even given bishops. But what we don't know is that some of those titles are just ceremonial. So once in a while, there's an occasion, and then maybe the wife of a bishop or something, you have a title, and then you sit in the chair, and that's the end of the whole thing. When it comes to decision making, you are not there, irrespective of the title that you have. So then one may ask, why the need? Why the need for the titles? So we are saying that even though those titles are there, it is sometimes misleading. the main thing they think that is a man's world and then the men should lead. We are saying that no, women should be given the space so that they also should show what they have. The structure should involve the women. The systems should also involve the women. Let the women participate. We have all been empowered with the Holy Spirit, and we think that the same Holy Spirit that empowers the woman empowers the man. So we are not, so to say, we are not fighting for powers. No, but we are saying that we are also well able to lead. So when the positions are there, the women must be empowered, should be given the opportunity to also lead. Yes. So I just put this there is one of the quotations that most of the Pentecostal churches are using. You know, that the woman must be submissive, and is misconstrued, must be submissive. You must be submissive doesn't mean that you shouldn't say what you know, you shouldn't be involved in decision making. Like I rightly said, you are not saying that you are the same as the man. So like others, what a man can do, a woman can do, fine. We know our place, but we are saying that we are more able to do things than where we have been placed. They should give us the opportunity as women. So now we're looking at ways of empowering women in the Pentecostal churches. Some of the ways that has been there, how they think they empower women, but we think that there's more room for improvement. For instance, when you go to some of the churches, when you go to the Assemblies of God Church, for instance, the women right from the age of 3, girls are groomed. So they are grouped in ages, and then per your age, you are taught or you are empowered in a certain way. So how to take care of yourself, how to behave as a woman in public and all those things. And then so that you grow into a fruitful person. All those things are there, but they all have limitations. You see women in the singing ministry or the choir. You see women in the ushering department. And then we see women interpretation department. They are all platforms. We are saying that's good. All those things are there, but when you enter, I realize that the decision maker there is a man. It can be a woman. Shall we move? So like I rightly mentioned, the girls are taught issues regarding women. So once you grow up, you're able to take care of your home. They are also taught how to fit into society. So what the society is expecting of you, what the church is expecting of you as a woman, know how to talk like a woman and not to talk like a man, behave like a woman, how to take care of your home, how to take care of your family. All those things are they are all ways by which the church seeks to empower the woman. We also have schedules where almost in all the Pentecostal churches, we have the women's ministry. And then the women's ministry actually seeks to empower women so that their marriages, their relationship are more stable, are more fruitful. So we normally have programs. For instance, when you come to my church, the program is drawn from the headquarters, and then almost all churches worldwide goes by that program. So every month there is a topic to be treated, be it relationship, education, marriage. For instance, the last month we did something on the women's health, menopause, premenopause, and then the postmenopausal symptoms and how they need to take care of themselves, how the woman needs to help with finances at home, her personal health, how to take care of children, their nutrition. We are saying all these are ways by which the women are powered, but this is women for women. So it's just a subset of the church. This is not about the whole of the church, but we are saying aside this, it's good, but aside this, the other sessions, women can also be given the platform women are sometimes given the opportunity to preach in their churches. When it comes to evangelism, they sometimes are given the opportunities to lead. But we are saying that at the end of the day, sometimes you need to seek for approval from a man before you are able to really perform what you need to do. But if the women are also at the top there, they know what to put in the decision making before it even gets to implementation. So all those things that have been put in the Pentecostal church now is good. I mean, it's better than before, but we still think that there's more room for improvement, and then the women should be given more platform, because women are now getting more educated than us before. We now have doctors, we now have professors, we have people with their first degrees, second degrees, and I think that if acquired a lot of knowledge, there are women who have the background from the women's house, grow over there, they teach them a lot of things. Because some of the women go to the, what's one other fellowship that they join. So they go to various places for empowerment. And we think that the church can harness all this in whole, so that the women will be more beneficial in the church than being relegated to only a few activities. Yeah, so I wish to acknowledge that change cannot occur overnight, and then change is a challenge. So we can't say by the next morning, women are at the top of issues, women are now the chairman, now the Pentecostal church, the head is a chairman. We are not saying women will get there, but they should also be given the opportunity that one day we also see a woman to be a chairman. You know. This idea of leadership is a man's world. We think that there are more women. Gone are the days where it's the men that are more school, even in the family, when there's no money and they can only cater for somebody, they want to educate only the man. These days, more women are going out there. And then, like our man Kwijagri said, when you educate a woman, you educate a nation. They have more influence because they touch the family, they touch the children, and then the society as a whole. So we think that in the church, the women should also be given more opportunities. They should give them the platform to be able to exhibit what they have. They shouldn't die with their potentials. We think that it is not fair. It's not be fair to us as women. You have so much to deliver or to give to your society. But because the platform is not there, the opportunity is not there, you keep it and you die in silence. That will not be too good for us. We know that when you go into the Bible, most of the women played a supportive role. But during the ministry of Jesus Christ, some of the women helped in the establishment of churches, and the churches that really stayed. So we think that today, same can be done. Let's try and push our women in there. That is what we are advocating for now. And I also think that once we are given the platform as women, we're talking to ourselves, we should be able to work as expected so that the next person can also be given. We are looking at the life of Deborah, her courage, her leadership. The men were all there, but she stood when no man was able to stand. When all the men were silent, Deborah stood. And we think we still have women like Deborah today who are so much full with wisdom, with knowledge, with skill, and then they can give this to the church. They can empower the children, even our husbands, and then the church as a whole. So we are saying that this is what happens in our churches, the Pentecostal church, for that matter, in Ghana, in Africa as a whole. So in conclusion, next slide. One woman that I use as my case study, the Archbishop Margaret Ida Hosa, after the demise of the husband, she was given the mantle, and the woman has really worked to the admiration of everybody. If you listen, you realize that most of the men that are working around her now even preferred her leadership to the husband. It means that if the women are given the platform, we can also do something. We can do something better. She's the head of their church, the university, the schools, a lot. And when you ask her, she will tell you that it's because of the motherly leadership. And this is different from the fatherly leadership. Women should be given the opportunity and platform so that we are able to maximize our fruitfulness to the world, to the church. It is a hard desire before we take off. Thank you very much. So we are saying more teaching, more training should come on board to correct the mentalities concerning the status of women in Pentecostalism. And this must be done intentionally. The planning must be done, intentionally. There must be a focus. And I think we can do that to change the structures and then try to put our women also in positions. Thank you. And God bless you.
Thank you so much for this highly interesting presentation and for taking us through this way that is, as you rightly pointed out, not over, but still very much to do ahead of us. So I will now open the floor for questions or remarks. You have enough time for that. And if there are no questions and remarks, I will start by asking a question. Okay, I see Holila.
Thank you very much, Marie-Louisa. And Pastor, thank you so much for the input. I am also a minister of religion, and my wife participates in the life of the church in all different levels of leadership. But the question that I want to ask is, one, to what extent does what happens within the culture in Ghana is reflective of what's happening within the church? In other words, are you picking up any correlation in terms of the culture in general and the culture within, that is within the church? And then secondly, how do men in particular respond to women leadership in the church, in the Pentecostal church in particular? Are there any situations where one could then pick up, even if it's anecdotal, in terms of how that relationship is going? And then lastly, maybe related to that, on the traditional kind of rituals that the church will perform, such as baptism and others, and how do men in general within the Pentecostal church, men in particular, react to women carrying out those tasks, such as baptism, and even in some home settings, marriage counseling, and all of that. Now, I'm just interested to find out as to how are those relationships, how are you picking up how those relationships are unfolding within the Pentecostal kind of church in Ghana. But again, thank you so much for the input. It was truly appreciated.
Thank you very much. I think I'll pick it from the last one. You want to know whether women are accepted to participate in baptism, if I got it correct. And then as to whether they do counseling. Is that it? Oh, okay, so, okay. Yeah, so for most of the pastors who do baptism, like I rightly said, some of the things are not written, but that is what is done. Yeah, so for most of the churches, personally, I'm yet to witness a woman pastor who baptizes. I'm yet to see that. I see more of the men. I see more of the men, except the churches where the women are founders. You know, there are some of the churches where the women are founders. So if you are the founder and you're a woman, then you have the opportunity, I mean, to do almost everything, officiate weddings, the funerals and baptism and all that. But where they are not the founders, most of the people or the pastors that do baptism are men. Amen. I know in the Assemblies of God Church, there are few of them. Once you go through the ranks, you are given the clerical and you are certified, you are able to also officiate and then do baptism. But that will be some of the limits for you. And then for counseling, for instance, my church, the counselor is a woman because the person has a master's in counseling. So my bishop gave her that opportunity. And for some of us with similar backgrounds, we are into, so we also have a group of counselors. So for that one, as women are given opportunities, and then the pastor's wife, through their experiences, we know we have the traditional counselor and then the professional counselor, and they are also part of the team. So at that level, I know more women are involved in the counseling, be it marriage, children, career, and all that. I know women are more involved in those sectors. And with regards to the relationship or the co-relationship between the culture and then how it has eaten into the church, like I said, some of those things are not spoken, but it's like, it is part of us. That is the culture. So you enter the church and you are actually conscientized that this is a woman's place. And this is how far the woman can go. This is what the woman can do. So once the man is talking, not really out of respect, but you must keep quiet. Yes, some people will say a human being is talking. You see, so some of those things have eaten into some of the churches, but like I'm saying, things are changing gradually. Things are changing gradually in the Pentecostal and the charismatic churches. Just that it is a little slow. But women are getting more platform as against those days where you go in there, you just have to be quiet and listen to the man, let them do their things, and then you second almost everything that is going on. We think things are changing, and we pray that that will go on, and we get to the stage where the women are also part of the main decision making that will affect the whole of the church and not only be working at the periphery. Thank you very much. I think there's one thing
Yes, thank you very much. We have plenty of questions. Okay. So the next one will be Wilhelm, please.
Yeah, thank you very much, Pastor Victoria, for this excellent and powerful presentation. You have spoken about Pentecostal churches in general. My question is about whether you see also the opportunity to differentiate between Pentecostal churches or Pentecostal churches and other strands of churches regarding giving the women the opportunity to becoming leadership and all that about what you are pleading for. Is there, can you evaluate different kinds of churches in which this opportunity is already developed more for women to come in leadership than in other churches?
Yeah, personally, I will even think that even the Pentecostal and charismatic churches are even doing better. Because I don't really know much about the Catholic and then the other Orthodox, the Anglican and then the Methodist churches, per their hierarchy. I don't really know so much, but I see more women fronted in the Methodist churches here as against the other churches. But in their hierarchy, I still see the man's thing. In the hierarchy, I still see the man's thing. So I think it's a general thing. It's a general thing in the church. And it's because of maybe the Pauline's teachings where the women have to be relegated and all those old stuff. So I think it's a general issue, not an issue particularly with the Pentecostal church. But I think what we were discussing now is the Pentecostal church because of my background. I think that's where we focused or zoomed more into that one. But I think other churches have similar challenges. Yeah.
Thank you very much. The next one is Patricia, please.
Thank you so much, my sister Victoria, Reverend, for a wonderful insight in your presentation. It is so good to see women in position like you are and taking leadership. And thank you for addressing the church hierarchy, which continues and we don't even know if it will ever end. But it is for women to take the position of saying that we are not going to be sidelined. I will just comment. It's not really a question, but it's a remark. I was brought up in an indigenous church, African indigenous church. That's where my bearings. And the women were in leadership then, and they still are. And then as an adult, I moved because once you are big, of course, you leave your indigenous place and you go elsewhere. And right now, I'm a member of a charismatic Pentecostal church. I'm from South Africa. It's a huge church. So I guess what is different there is probably because it's a big church that we are not looking at somebody allocating duties. The women are in full swing. We do our own thing. We start as volunteering that this is what I want to do. So what the church does, they actually follow our lead. Because if we wait for the men who are in charge, we've got pastors, they're all men, from the senior pastor to about 20 of them. But the women organizations in the church, we are so many. We've got counseling sessions, we've got doctors that are looking after the orphanages, we've got people like myself running projects for the underprivileged and the children that are dropping out of school because of pregnancy. We are doing everything in our power as the community to help, and as women. So as much as this disease of hierarchy in the church and society, the division of gender, women are so powerful that we are not going to let it go. We call ourselves Imbogodvo because we are the rock. And when you mentioned Paul, I said, well, Paul, he will always say in his teachings, especially in Timothy 2, verse 12, he will say that women should be silent. They shouldn't say anything. They must just keep quiet. They mustn't even teach. But when it was time when Paul needed funding, needed money, he says, "Oh, Priscilla, don't forget we'll be coming to you," because now he knew exactly that when women are involved, things happen. He knew exactly what he was doing. So that is part of hierarchy, which is very unfortunate. But because we are driven by the Holy Spirit, and nothing will ever stop women from empowering each other. I believe in empowering women, because once you empower women, you empower the whole world. You educate a woman, as you said, which is our philosophy. In Africa, we have educated the entire world. So I would say that for women, continue doing the best, because you are not only excellent in everything that you do. We are not just beautifully crafted, but your brains, you can lead, and you are leaders of this world. And I can rest assure you, in my projects where I'm working with women, we are changing the world. Women are just the way to go. Thank you.
Thank you also
Most
very
welcome.
much. Yes. So as this was more a comment, we move over to the next speaker, and that would be Beatrice. Beatrice, if you can hear, yes, please. Now.
Yes, hello.
Wonderful, we hear you.
Hi.
Yeah, yes. My contribution on Victoria, I just want to say thank you for the wonderful presentation. I want to say that the challenges women are experiencing right now, the origin is the patriarchal setup historically that are handed over from one generation to another. Now, as a church, you've said that the change is coming gradually. However, I wanted to find out that for change to really take place completely, for change to come, for the women to be set free, then there are some measures that should be put in place to mitigate these challenges. So to my question to Victoria is that in the Pentecostal church, what are some of these measures that have been put in place to mitigate these experiences so that the changes take place very fast? Thank you very much.
Most welcome. Most welcome. So we are now looking at more of the educational backgrounds of women. You know that once you are more educated, you are more knowledgeable. So, and then now in the ranks, you realize that more of the men are getting more of education, going to the School of Theology and all that. So I think the empowerment is for more women. Once you want to do the work, then you have to jump on board and really get educated and really expose yourself to the teachings so that when the opportunity comes, you have all that it takes to be able to mount that platform. Because sometimes the opportunity may come, but you don't have what it takes to man it. So we are now empowering or encouraging our women to now step up their education so that when the opportunity comes, I think, and then I think the structures, like we are saying, I don't know, but irrespective, you know, the structures are there and who should be there, the chairman, who should be the next. We are just praying that something must be done about the structures. But I think that if you have what it takes, one day, once you are well empowered, you have the good educational background, you know everything about the church, and then you are able to move and all that, it will come to a time where the woman will ascend the position that we are expecting now. Because now we have women also becoming chancellors and vice chancellors of universities because of their capabilities. So I think the women are more empowered. It will come to a time that once the position is vacant, they can go for it. So that is my take. Thank you.
Thank you very much. The next one is Catherine, please.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Hello.
Yes.
Hello.
Yeah, thank you so much, Reverend Victoria. I'm very sorry I missed your presentation because of the network, but I've just come in when you were concluding, and I'm very glad that as listened to those who are asking questions, at least I know something little about what you've shared. I'm a Pentecostal minister, a reverend in a church in Kenya. I just want to make a comment. I don't have a question. In Kenya, there are some tribes who don't allow women to participate in things like baptism, burying the dead, and even other activities of the church. But in the really sense, we have found out that women are allowed their ministry is quite acceptable, although such tribes, they don't allow women to do such activities, and especially where there are men, they will allocate men the duties and leave the women. You are there just to watch what is happening. But I want to thank God that the Anglican Church of Kenya, the second Archbishop is a woman. She was inaugurated a month ago, about 2 months ago. And this one, I'm sure it is bringing a different face towards the ministry of women in Kenya. The ceremony that was done for her pulled many people from different denominations. Dr. Emily Onyango, which was being ordained as the second bishop of the Anglican Church in Kenya. Everybody, many people were able to see it over the TV, over they listened to the inauguration, and many people were saying, oh, so women can be given such a big opportunity to lead the church. I think that is a challenge that men who are in church leadership should learn from, so that as I found you quoting Deborah, I see Deborah was a woman who had who God gave the authority, and she did exactly what God had wanted her to do. So for that sharing you have shared this afternoon, I feel women stand the chance of being given opportunity to lead, and even officiate in certain given activities of the church. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Yes, thank you for that comment also. Then the next one is Deidre, please.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Pastor. That was absolutely amazing, spot on. I could hardly contain myself, so emotional. Yeah, because you mentioned so many points that you know, yeah, I mean, things has changed. Women has become has more opportunities within the churches simply because there's no choice, right?
Yeah.
However, and I'm a Pentecostal, I'm charismatic Pentecostal, and I've been since I was a child. I've also been exposed to various mainline churches because I come from a church community and a church family. So my experiences is, and especially, and I want to talk not just about women, but especially being a colored woman is even more problematic than for any other woman, because as a colored, you're not supposed to rise up. You're not supposed to, you know, thread those pathways. I have been, I've experienced myself within churches, and I'm talking about massive churches, where everybody know you study theology, everybody know your passion is, because my passion wasn't at first theology, my passion was Christ, and it was God, and it was, you know, preaching and bringing the word. But my gift, I noticed my gift as I started, studying theology. So, but it was mainly and specifically for the church. It was meant for the church. But having met with so much opposition within the church, and specifically when you go higher up in the education system, you're becoming even more a threat. As a pastor and within the church atmospheres, it's unbelievable. Moving from one church to another because it's your calling, it's your passion, you called for it. My experience now is in, you know, although they need to because some of these churches are massive churches. I mean, we have just had negotiations with the World Council of Churches. So you need to tick those boxes to say that we allow women in leadership, but there's still so much red tape. So women are allowed to do some kind of preaching, some kind of prayer meetings and so forth. But I like what you said, Victoria, that we know our place. We know what it means to be submissive, but we also know what it means to lead within submissiveness. And for that reason, there's such a massive fight for equality, and it should not be like that, because there is we understand the triangular rank of the husband, the wife, the children, but because we are denied those things, therefore it becomes a massive fight to be empowered, because we empower ourselves, so we need those platforms. What my experience now is, I'm also a pastor. Well, not I'm a pastor, but I'm going through the process of ordination of 2 years. Whereas I have I've already had a master's at the time. Other couples have a bachelor's and they've been ordained. So I need to go through a 2-year process of such thick books, which I'm not saying it's incorrect, because you need to go through the denominational, liturgy and so forth, but it's just another matter of saying that we have all these red tapes not to allow you within these circles, because now you need to be married before you can actually get into this. So finish the modules, get ordained, but there's no vacancy, and you need to be married. So there's so many red tapes that they've put in your place. But anyway, when God has called you, and it will make a way. Thank you.
Most welcome. Most welcome.
Maybe at that moment, if you allow me, I will use my power as a chair to just connect a question now after Deirdre highlighted all these challenges. I have a question to you also, Pastor. And my question would be if you would think that it is exactly that these challenges are also a reason or for women opening their own churches, because you also mentioned that if you open your own church, then you might be able to perform the rituals. So would you say that this might also be a push for that?
Some way, somehow. But I know for some of the women who founded their churches, if you should ask them whether they established their church because of the power fight, they will tell you no, they just want to work for Christ. They just want to work for Christ. So that one is also there. And then we also have others that will really have to find their way out because they want to express themselves. They think God has called them, but they are not given the platform. So we have both sides in there. But I think you really need to listen to what God is saying. You don't have to really walk out of a church because you are not given the opportunity. At the end of the day, it's all about Christ. It's all about God. It's not about us. Yes, so even though there are challenges, we should be able to work things out. I'm thinking we should be able to make things better for the next generation. That's why I'm saying that we should be able to empower ourselves, build our capacity, so that when the opportunity comes and then you can be put there, they will give you that right to be there. But like your question, there are some who really founded their churches because they think God have called them, and there are others because they needed to break away because they were not given the platform to express themselves. So we have these two categories in the system.
Thank you very much. Then the next one is Philip. Philip, please.
Yeah, thank you very much, Pastor Victoria, for this exciting lecture, and thank you everybody for your contributions in the discussion. It's really, I'm really enjoying listening to all of this. And my question, I would like to, maybe challenge you and also everybody else who has come into the discussion a little bit. So, what is the way forward? Is it more negotiation and trying to convince male leaderships in churches that women should have the same rights in leadership as men, or is it more that women should take action actively, kind of revolutionize the churches themselves, found their own churches, and proactively grab leadership positions? Okay, this is a little bit extreme, but that's so. Is it negotiation or is it revolution?
Anyway, personally, I would go for a negotiation. because we have a lot of churches breaking out now. Christendom, we have a lot of churches, a lot of under the umbrella of Christianity. And then sometimes when you listen to the reasons why people break away, you think that it's just not right. Is it about Christ or is it about us? At the end of the day, I think that it's about Christ. So I think that there can be a negotiation, revolution in a way, but not like the world will do it. Maybe subtly we can do something like that. But I believe that as a woman, whenever you are given the opportunity, you should kill it. If we think we are capable, we are able, once you are given the platform, you should be well prepared. So once you are given the platform, kill it. Let the world know that we can do it. That is it. Personally, that is my take. Prepare yourself in whichever way you can. Prepare yourself, study the word, go to school, get a skill. So once you are given the platform, make sure you have done justice to it. So everybody will see it. And the next time once there's an opportunity, all hands will be pointed at you. That is my take. I don't know what somebody else wants to say on the platform. I'll be glad to know.
Yes, yeah. Is there anybody who would like to add to that directly?
This can be a very, very long conversation, and Pastor, perhaps we should be in touch, you know, because yeah, it's just a discussion that's very powerful, and I completely agree with you. You know, get ready, you know, get the education, and when you have the platform, then they show what you've got. We don't want to take the men's positions. That's not what it's all about. But we just want to have the opportunity, also not to be the threat, but see us as a partnership. So yeah, thank you for that.
Thank you very much. I saw Nadine, you also wanted to come in on that point.
Yes, thank you, Pastor Victoria. I was just listening to this conversation and wondering, I don't know how to phrase this, just give me a moment. How does theological background and theological understandings help us to navigate in this? Why I'm saying this is I'm also a reverend, and you spoke about knowing your place, submissiveness, not wanting to take the man's place, and I respect that. Even though I do not feel like that, I want to take the same place because I feel God made me equal. And I have my colleague is a man over 60, he's 65. And even though the culture does not see us as equals, I would say the culture does not my culture, but my church made space for me to have the same leadership capabilities or abilities, even though I think, like, obviously he has more experience in the world because I'm very younger. But yeah, I was just wondering, like, it's linking with the revolution question. I understand the negotiation. My question is more, how will you negotiate if the structure of the theological framework does not make space for negotiation? Because in my context, the church made space for me, and I'm very grateful, but my culture does not always allow me to take that space. So yes, maybe just an insight, or yes, thank you. But thank you. It was very, very, very interesting for me.
Welcome.
Wonderful. Was there... okay, Deirdre is, I think, also relating to that in the chat. This and writing that the submissive relating to triangle relationship from a theological perspective. Do you want to elaborate on that?
Yes, sure, I can do. Yeah, I was just wanting to refer to what Nadine was saying in terms of equality. no denial, of course. We talk about equality. We talk about that I can achieve as much as a man can achieve. In terms of submissiveness, of course, it needs to go with the mutual respect. It needs to go with a mutual partnership. It's not just a matter of equality. And, you know, there is a certain triangle relationship, and I'm going to move a little bit more into spirituality within which the Bible is speaking about. So submissive does not mean to be oppressed. Submissive does not mean that you know, a woman doesn't make the decisions and so forth. It means equality within your submissiveness. So there's a very fine line in identifying what submissive means. And what I also then pointed out is the reason why we are fighting for equality the way that we are doing now is because of the power relationship that's an authoritative power and not an authoritative power in relation to respect from a biblical perspective. I hope that's a bit clearer.
Oh, I can hear you.
Yes, sorry, that is my fault. I did not unmute myself. Thank you very much for making me aware. Tolile, you raised your hand. Was it in reaction to that? Because other than that, Patricia was first, but was it in direct reaction to that or not?
Thanks. No, Patricia can go. I was reacting to the question by Philip whether it's revolutionary or on negotiations. But Patricia can go forward. If there is time, I'll comment later on. Thanks.
Patricia, you have to unmute yourself.
Oh, sorry about it. No, I was just going to comment on the negotiations or revolutionary. That my sister, Pastor Victoria, says absolutely negotiations, not revolutionary. But when it comes to negotiations, we are going to negotiate with who? Because the revolutionary way is much better, because we are now going to, like in my church, we find that there's a whole lot of people waiting for baptism. They have been waiting because there's a whole register, and this is a big church, but it's not what women pastors that are ordained in our church.
Oh, I'm afraid there we lost connection with you, Patricia. Well, maybe we will. Yes, Patricia. Yeah, we lost connection. Maybe you were about to say why revolutionary is better.
Yeah, about to, but now my screen is gone. I'm in the radio now. I can't see anyone.
But we can hear you.
Okay. Can you see me?
We can see you and hear you.
Okay. Oh gosh, what now?
Patricia, for us, everything is fine. We hear you and we see you. And if you want, you can now explain your point of view.
Oh, okay. Oh gosh. I think I'm going to switch on and off because I'm now losing you. I'm back now.
Yeah, we hear you.
Yes. Oh, so I was saying that as much as it is more ethical or humanism, we have to go into avoid the revolutionary. But in this case, we just have to do what we can as women, and not even be waiting for these people. But I just wanted to share with women that it's not just us, the contemporary women, that are deciding to go revolutionary, because even in the biblical times, we had the same thing. Women did not just wait. It's not just Deborah, it's a whole lot of them. I'll just quickly go through a few biblical women that didn't wait. If you can give me just 2 minutes. Okay, women, listen to this. Be an Esther, bold and courageous, enough to stand for the truth, to voice your opinion and fight for the good of the others, because we are not representing ourselves, we are representing other women. And be Ruth, loyal in your relationships, which we do, walk the extra mile and don't quit when things get tough. So don't ever quit. Just tell yourself that you are Ruth, you are going to walk. Be Lydia, let your home be open. Let your hands be generous. let your hearts be big enough to take everybody else. Our hospitality comes within because we are women. And Reverend Sister Victoria will agree to that. I'm sure her home is open to everyone because that's what we do. And Bihana, at the same time, Bihana never cease to pray. It will never be in vain. Even if the other people think we are drunk because we are praying, they don't understand. Because in the charismatic church, like now, I'm talking to, if I start now praying in the tongue, you are going to say, oh, she's so crazy, this theologian. It's not like that. It's just because we have the Spirit and we are led by the Spirit. So women, be merry and be humble and submissive. Being submissive does not mean that I'm submitting to you. We are submitting to authority, which the authority is God and God alone. Any other person, like my husband or whatever, is mutual respect. So that's another thing that be Dorcas. Use your talents. Oh, ladies, you've got so much talent. We are not just beautiful outside, inside and out. You have so much talent that you can change the world. I believe in radicalism when it comes to doing things. Be an Abigail. Remember how each decision can turn your life around for good and for bad. Just be Abigail. And there are so many. And I won't even go to Rebecca. Rebecca, we have to water all the cameras. It doesn't matter whether this one is dirty or not. Just keep on washing the cameras. And then you will find your boas like Esther did. I'll just end there. There's so much that I can put.
Thank you.
Yes. Thank you also for adding this biblical perspective. I know that we are overstretching the time. I also know that some people, especially in South Africa, are experiencing technical problems due to electricity shortages. But as the conversation is so engaging, I would encourage those who would like to stay for just a couple of minutes to stay here so that we can also listen to what Hulile wanted to say.
Thank you very much, Marie-Louise. I think what I wanted to say quite briefly is, I think one is that there is a role that men also must play. I think the men that are in this platform, it's an encouragement that we also have a role to play. I remember in my church when I initiated these things or encourage women to participate. In all honesty, it hasn't been very easy because I had very strong women, powerful women in the church, and you know how they will, call me to order, set me straight. It's quite humbling, but I had to bite that bullet and allow things to happen. As well, they end up laughing at me most of the time. Because I don't have, I've got very strong women that are there that are well capable. And so I think for women, if you find an ally, maybe like a person like myself, who understands that the women revolution must be led by women, those few men, because I'm from patriarchy. I mean, everything about me, I was raised in a patriarchal sense, where women know their place and all of that. And to actually have been converted out of that. And so we then become allies to women who are leading this revolution. And so it is not easy, but we have kept on it right now, up until now, and women are participating. So I just wanted to say to men, we also have a role to play and to assist, but that struggle must be led by women. We can't free you from our own oppression. You must free yourselves whilst we deal with our own problems, which is patriarchy in this case. Thank you very much, Pastor.
You're welcome.
Thank you very much for this call, also to the men. Wonderful. I just saw there was also one question in the chat earlier, so they were also very praising comments. So also from people who already had to leave, also to say that this session is very important also to somebody as a young Catholic girl, and but she already had to leave. So there are many things in the chat, and also one question about what the explicit needs would be that should be addressed, and the needs of women that should be addressed in the church and that are not addressed at the moment. Maybe we can answer this as a last question. Victoria, if you would like to say something about that. Or any other pastor, as we have seen that there are so many different ones. Victoria, can you hear me?
Yes, please.
Yes. So I was just thinking, as there was this question in the chat about the needs of women that are not addressed at the moment, but that should be addressed. And if we could name some of the needs that are not addressed, or that should be more addressed in the church.
Okay. You know, the differences are there. Women have their emotional needs, in fact, right from menstruation right through pregnancy, childbirth, and all that. We go through a lot of physiological changes, you know. So we are saying that we understand ourselves, and then we are more able to explain ourselves. And then if a girl child is explaining certain things to you as a mother, you are in a better position to understand as against a man. If you want to talk about delivery, the women see the pain, but the intensity and how you feel, it is different. Between you and your children, the relationship, certain times men will have a different take, and the way they would shout and all that, it's like the woman doesn't see it. No, because of the way our makeup is. So we are saying some of the things, like our emotional needs and challenges, we understand ourselves better. If a woman is going through a divorce case, a woman understands it better than the man on the other side. So these are some of the things that we think are not well addressed by the men. And we think that if we are given the opportunity, we are in a better position to deal with our women. So a chance must be given. I don't know whether Auntie Patricia and the rest have something to add.
Yeah, maybe I just quickly, I was just thinking about something. I think maybe, you know, one other way is probably also to have your own church. For me, I'm not a traditional pastor. I'm not the pastor that can be told, this is how you need to dress. This is how you need to, you know, conduct yourself. This is the places where you need to go, because I'm Holy Spirit led. And the church can't deal with what it means to be Holy Spirit led. The church, we teach Holy Spirit led, we teach charismatic, we teach finding your own identity within Christ, and of course starting with the love for Christ. But the church do not know how to handle that. The church neither, and I'm talking about the leadership, which is of course most of the time men, do not understand what it is to be truthful. So those are things that are needs, not just for women, but for a spiritual-led woman. And unfortunately, it's not a culture that exists within the church. So yeah, I don't know, maybe it means that, you know, you live out your spirituality outside the church doors, although you're called for the church. God will make, I suppose, whatever needs to come from that, God will make a way.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much for all your contributions. This has been a very rich session, I think. Victoria, the last word, I would like to give it to you. If there is anything you would like to add, then please do so. Yeah, so once again, I am very, very grateful to you, Marie, and then your colleague who came around. It's a great honor and privilege to be on your platform, even though I would have wished to be in Berlin. That didn't happen. Yeah, but I think it's a nice platform. My bishop will say that today you are going to Germany, even though you are in Ghana.
So I'm so grateful for this opportunity. And I think that the talking must continue, the work must continue. We don't have to end it here if we really want to see our women at the top there so that the next generation have a better platform than us. I think we must continue the work. And then I think we'll be blessed. As Christians, we'll be blessed. So thank you so, so much with all your team. I'm so grateful to Professor and everybody around here. It has been a great, great pleasure for me to be part of you today. And I'll say, God bless you. Women continue to work, and then let them not see us we fighting and wanting powers. That is not the issue. I just need a platform to express ourselves. So that's like Monroe once said that the cemetery has all categories of people. We don't want to be part of that category where we die with our talent and our potentials. We say no. We want to be able to express ourselves. We want the world to benefit. We want the church to benefit. So we should be able to do that before, if God should call us, we leave this place. God richly bless you. Thank you.
Thank you very much for these fantastic closing words. I think there's really nothing to add. It was a great privilege to have you. Thank you very much. And please pass our best wishes and regards also to your bishop and to the other pastors that we had the chance to interview. Yes, we hope that we can meet physically, maybe the next time. But yes, I'm sure I can speak for everybody here that it was a great privilege to have you here in the Zoom room. And thank you very much. Thank you also for all those who bared with us until the end. And we now go to the break. We will reconvene here at 7 German time and South African time. And yes, thank you very much for this inspiring lecture. Thank you very much. Have a good day.
Thank you. Thank you, Victoria.
Thank you.
Yeah, whoever is recording, I think we can stop the recording now.